again. Okay, let's try this again. I know we're having some issues here with technology a little bit. It could have been my headphones. So let's try this again. I'm going to bring my guest on here, Rick Gutman. He is our founder of Overcome Nation, our mentor, and our business partner. Let me just see. Hopefully this works this time. We'll give it a few seconds just to make sure that everything's okay from a technology side of things. Let me see if I can bring you on here, Rick. Hopefully this time around we're good. Take two. Can you
Okay.
hear me, Rick?
Sure, it seems better. Let's just go with it.
Okay, let's go with it. I took out my headphones, so maybe it's a bit better. I've been having issues lately with this, but we'll try to figure it out. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to be home here in Dana Point,
Yes.
California, and so just hitting the ground running and preparing for our next event and all the good things we're adding to our reward program. It's just been amazing.
It's so exciting. And, that's part of the
I
reason
know.
why I wanted to bring you on here. I know you and I had a conversation back in the fall. So, people in my network probably have seen you before. And the reason that I wanted to bring you back on here is because of all the changes that we've been having since our last event at Dominion and all the things that are coming. Before we get started, though, for the new people in my network, I would like to introduce you, give a little bit of your background, and maybe if you can sort of add to that as well. For those of you who don't know, Rick is my mentor. He's my business partner, and he's also the founder of Overcome Nation. We've been working together now for a little over a year, and Rick has made, he's extremely successful in network marketing, but also in many other industries, whether it's real estate, diamonds and gemstones, and others. So, for me, it's really important to sort of, share with my network what it is that someone like you, who is very successful in traditional business, saw in the network marketing space. Like, what was it that you saw that attracted you to this industry, and what made you stay? If you can maybe share a little bit about yourself and about that, and then we'll dive a bit deeper into questions about what's coming.
Sure. Well, number one, it was just easier, much easier. The more you understand business and then you compare traditional business to the network marketing model, the more you can see that it's easier and it's better, right? And it's unusual for the person that's never been exposed to financial education and big business before. But those that have been, it's easier for them to see the value in network marketing, right? Uh, and so, my background was being a small business owner, traditional business. From the time I was 17, I always owned my own businesses. I only worked for somebody else for about 5 years out of my life, and ran right back to being a small business owner where I could make my own decisions. But the truth is, in the small business quadrant, you buy yourself a job, and you trade those hours for dollars, just like employees. The only difference is you get to call your own shots, but the trade-off is for that independence, you also become a slave to your own business. In other words, you can't leave your company and go on a 6-month vacation because you don't have a system. And so, but that was all I knew. I worked really hard, and the harder I worked, the more I made, the more the government took. The more you make, the more they take. Um, but what I really wanted was freedom to be able to earn income like so many others, based on a system and cash flow, instead of having to trade those hours for dollars, right? And it wasn't until I really began to start reading about financial education and was exposed to the mentorship. And that's when life began to change for me, because when somebody steps into your life that understands big business and they've made 40 or 50 million, you listen. The trouble is, most people have never been exposed to anyone who's made that kind of money and that quality of money, not just quantity, but quality, right? Through passive income and cash flowing assets. And so somebody entered my life like that and began to teach me and renewed my mind to what big business looks like. And it was a real clear line of sight of how to escape from the small business quadrant, known as the rat race.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more I began to read and understand and then apply, the more my life changed, and so that I started to step heavily into real estate and rental properties and commercial properties and purchasing land and subdividing land and all of that, and I fell in love with learning big business. And I stopped paying attention to what the crowd was saying, and I started to pay attention to what the icons in business were saying and were teaching. And I knew that I had to put on their mindset. And so um, I've read over 1,200 books on business and cash flow and assets and all of that. It's funny because in high school I never even wanted to read a book, and then after I found out what I was passionate about, you couldn't stop me from reading. At least 3 books a week for years and years and years. I still love learning. Still a student. And so when I was exposed to network marketing, I saw somebody that was making over $100,000 a month in passive income, and they weren't doing it in real estate. They weren't doing it in the franchise business. They weren't doing it anything else. They were doing it in network marketing, an industry that I really didn't understand and had a small amount of experience in it. And I just couldn't understand how they could generate that kind of cash flow without any employees. And like, why wouldn't they, if the products are so good, why wouldn't they just put it on the shelf? And I had all these questions from just not knowing, and thank God that I didn't stay in cynicism to where I was like, you know, uh, shutting myself off from actually going after the answers. It could have easily been that way because I had made millions in these other industries and the diamond and gemstone industry as well. And I could have easily been like, no, 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 no. I've never seen anybody make any real money. But thank God I was vulnerable enough to ask, like, how are they doing it? And I'm not going to say that I tried to prove them wrong. I wanted them to be right because I thought I'm watching them making 100 grand a month in passive income. I want them to be right,
Yeah.
and so I was operating through a different invitation, so to speak. And but I still had to provide answers for my network of people and provide answers for what made sense financially, right, in big business. And I was shocked to see how much better it was because you could build a business locally or globally. You could build it without any employees. You could build it without any of the overhead, very little overhead. You could build it with very low risk. In other words, cost you $500 to $1,500 to get started. You didn't have to incur the liabilities of small business ownership. You didn't have to worry about payroll. Like everything that I was doing as a small business owner, I did not have to do in network marketing. And I was so fascinated by it, and that it had multiple layers of rewards and commissions and free vacations. And I began to understand how, through the mechanics, so many people that became good at this industry did so well. And the biggest takeaway for me was it was not a pyramid. That was the biggest takeaway for me because that's what everybody calls it, because they see people, draw circles on whiteboards and all of that. And being familiar with traditional business and the structure of small business and government and how the world pays in business, that is truly a pyramid, right? If anyone has seniority over you in traditional business as an employee or a corporate officer, they're making more than you. And in network marketing, people were making more money at the bottom than people were making at the top, and it happened every single day. in this $300 billion space. I'm like, this is the most fair business model in the world that gets a really bad rap.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I stepped into it, I just felt like all this industry really needed was education and curriculum and providing answers
Mm-hmm.
to how this industry has survived for over 150 years. I mean, it has to be remarkable to survive that long,
Mm-hmm.
and it has to be remarkable to be doing over $300 billion a year, and paying billions of dollars a month in commissions to people. Somebody's winning. And so I just felt like there was a big dilemma there where it was just not being communicated the way it deserved, right? And brand communication is something I spent a lot of time with,
Mm-hmm.
with the author of the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, Robert Kiyosaki and Sharon Lechter. And brand communication is very, very important. And I couldn't, and so because that was such a big part of industry and the programming that I learned through financial education, I immediately saw that network marketing has a real problem in communicating the brand through the language of business and curriculum and business ownership. They've done remarkable things aside from that, but when it comes to really communicating it as being a very, very powerful business model and very credible and very professional, I felt like there was a real need for me to communicate it in a language and the mechanics in the way it really deserved, right? And so because when you have an industry that can produce that much cash flow, that much revenue, for to see people just say the product, the product, the product over and over and over again, they make it sound so like they're just peddling and begging their friends, and everyone's doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the weight loss that I've done. Look at my hair restoration. Look at my skin restoration. Look at my all of the stuff of just product, product, product. And I saw many people that would get involved in companies because the products were so great and they still would not make any money. And here they would be a part of billion-dollar companies and still not be able to make any money. Like there has to be an answer for this somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took it upon myself to start educating people on how to own a business. So now all of those products are a part of your business, but you know, you need more than great products and great compensation plans in order to have success individually and corporately. And doesn't an industry that does 300 billion a year deserve that? Like, why wouldn't anyone do it? To me, it was like a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gave me massive success. I've been in it for almost 2 decades now, and I've had a very, very fortunate career monetarily, but even more in the rewards of changing lives
Mm-hmm.
because less people lose in my organization because they're getting the curriculum and the financial education that this industry deserves and they deserve. And that's how Overcome Nation, came to be.
Yeah, and I love that, Rick, because we do stand out, as an organization within the network marketing space. And part of that is because of the way that we've learned to communicate it based on the developmental program that we have now, based on the teachings that you've brought to your group, that we can go out there
Yeah.
and someone like myself who doesn't have any experience in business, I've been an employee my entire life, I can come now and learn these skills within the developmental program that we have here and speak to people about it. So I think that's something that I want to touch upon. And I really wanted to dive a bit deeper in terms of, what it is that, Overcome Nation is really bringing to this industry. Because not only have you been successful, from a financial side of things, but you're bringing massive change to an industry that has done things the same way for 140 years, like you said, right? Bringing the products up front, but now bringing that whole education, that financial education into it. You know, we've added, and by we I mean you. I know I'm putting myself in here, but you know, it's the 7
Yeah.
layers that we're now bringing. You know, this is something new that we've talked about since our Dominion event. It's like we're taking it a step up. So I want you to talk about those 7 layers. But before we get into that, you know, I want to talk about 2 of those aspects that really sort of stand out. The first one is the manual. You know, like you brought out a manual that, you know, touches on the steps that we have to do, the key activities that we need to do in order to become a black diamond within this organization. Like the steps are outlined for us, the strengths at every rank are out there. And you know, you spoke about it, but once I got the actual manual and I saw what was in there, it kind of felt like, oh my God, am I privy to this information? Like I have everything at my fingertips. So what does this mean for this organization? You know, now that we have this,
Yeah.
like what is your goal? What is your vision with this manual? Where do you want Overcome Nation to go by sharing this information with your team?
Infrastructure.
Mm.
Infrastructure. People always talk about systems, but within the system, you need infrastructure. And in that infrastructure, there is you take something that seems complicated and you make it very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And in the manual, I met how to grow a multi-million dollar business with through multiple different approaches on the same page, and made it very simple, because this business is mostly emotional. The highs and lows can emotionally pick you up or drain you, right? And so understanding it on the emotional side is really important, and you need that fragrance of motivation and inspiration on each page within the mechanics of how to build it, right? What you what you should be doing, excuse me, what your team should be doing, what you should be thinking about, what strengths that need to be developed along the way to step into big business ownership, because it is a big business. And so from page to page, from rank to rank, there is the philosophy of it, there is the mechanics of it, there's the financial education of it, there's the strengths that you need to improve on in order to become mentally strong. And you have to be able to control your emotions along the way. And so I walk people step by step from literally from the first rank all the way to the top, up to Black Diamond rank, and everything that you need to be thinking about in each rank, in each chapter. And you know, it took me 3 years to write this, but it represents two decades of figuring it all out, and winning and winning and winning and winning. I've never had to do anything else on the side for 17 years that I've been in this industry. I've never had to do anything else on the side. You know, that has to account for something,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why is it that I just continue to have success in this industry? And I felt like I always had an unfair advantage because of all the years I had with Robert Kiyosaki and Sharon Lechter, and studying with them, and you know, paying $500,000 in mentorship from, you know, from seminars all over the place, you know, and really gathering and learning and applying, mostly applying. And so I thought the only way I could, you know, not just be an organization that's personality driven, but to take everything that I've learned and be able to give it to every person on my team, it had to be in writing. It had to be a curriculum. It had to be in a teaching manual. And so that infrastructure is the answer, because there are bottlenecks at different ranks in any company that you're a part of,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you have to understand where those bottlenecks are, and so you can show people how to get past it, instead of them just blindly trying to figure it out all the time, and having an upline that just continues to tell them just call more people and do the same thing over and over and over again until they're just so get either bored or burned out, and they don't want to do it because there's no real curriculum,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, you know, to all those that would oppose what I'm saying, I would say, you know, is it okay to give people more than what they're paying for? You know, it should be. Is it okay if my desire is to teach people so well that they no longer need me? It should be. Is it okay if I make the system and the infrastructure become the mentor and not me? It should be.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that way I don't have to be present, and they have the keys in their hand, right? And so we're already seeing massive change within my team, massive change. You know, I mean, look around. Everyone that's a part of Overcome Nation, I mean, they're loud and proud and communicating in a way no one else is. While everyone else is talking about product, you know, over and over again, and trying to just be transactional, you know, people at Overcome Nation are really bringing content that's
Mhm.
educational and representing a company and representing an industry through a real professional language, right? That's attractive to the right kind of people rather than the peddling part, right?
Mhm.
And that happens industry wide, which is why you don't see them teach in universities, because the only real exposure they get is people peddling products, right? Product, company, compensation plan across the board in like what, 42,000 different network marketing companies?
Mhm.
Like, which one do you pick if everybody's saying the same thing? So I just feel like I don't feel, I know that it's time to organizationally start going down into your organization and start thinking, what more value could I give to
Mhm.
my team
Mhm.
that would help them to learn more, to stay in longer, to give themselves more of an opportunity to learn and to grow and to become, right? To go from follower to leader, from employee to a big business owner. What more could you do organizationally to add more value than just the first level of value that all the companies are offering? Is it okay organizationally to give more? So now you get double, you get everything the company is doing, plus you give more. It should be okay, right? That's an organization you want to be a part of
Mhm.
that is proactively saying, I want to give more, give more, give more, right? And you know, we've done that very well. So it started, you know, with having that tool, which, you know, we just introduced a month ago. And again, it took me many years to write it, but you know, I had already been teaching like 1,500 hours of free education, financial education. I've been giving away for free. I just took all of that and organized it and put it in a curriculum and put it in 124 pages of real curriculum. Right? No one will ever guess what they should be doing on and how to build this business. So so within that, then they have the financial education and wealth development, right? And the fruit of that is, you know, we've produced people that have gotten out of debt, paid off tens of thousands of dollars in credit card debt, people that paid off their mortgages, you know, from six-figure earners, multiple six-figure earners to multiple seven-figure earners outside of the network marketing space too, from what they've taken the financial education and increased their net worth and their value. And so the fruit is everywhere in what we're teaching, right? And so then we ended up being the first organizationally that I'm aware of in the
Mhm.
network marketing space to introduce NFTs into the ecosystem, not to sell, but to reward and to recognize our team. And these are minted NFTs on the blockchain. They have real value, although they get it for free. And it fits perfectly within our ecosystem because of all the additional stuff that we give away.
Mhm.
You know, I've given cash bonuses and continue to cash bonuses in addition to what they're already getting, free vacations in addition to what they're already getting, you know, diamonds, certified diamonds in addition to what they're already getting. And, you know, I've added another almost $200,000 in cash bonuses to just my organization. Is that okay if I want to give people, you know, a hell of a lot more money than what they're spending? It should be. Right?
Yes.
I'm looking around and, you know, I've never seen anybody do that. You know, there could be somebody, but I've never seen anyone do, you know, add what we've been adding. And all of that gives us the ability to attract top people in the marketplace
Mhm.
that actually know the difference, right? That know the difference of what is out there and what teams, what organizations value them so much that they're willing to dig in their pockets right? And give more and more and more. That's a team I mean, anyone would want to be on if they understand what is being taught here, right? Because it's the teams, it's not just the leaders, it's the
Yeah.
teams, you know, that have never been exposed to business before. They're the ones that need it. It's the new ones, it's the naive ones, it's the intimidated ones, it's the ones that don't have education, it's the ones that are unsure. Those are the ones that need this type of curriculum. And just make 100 calls, you know, a month or a week is scares the hell out of them. But when you give them education and they actually know what to say and feel more confident and feel themselves learning and growing, they don't quit so easy. And that's my game. That's the game of Overcome Nation, is to help more people not to quit by giving them real education and infrastructure. Again, is that okay? It should be.
Yeah, so good, right? So much information, so much value, right? Like you just covered everything that we're giving on top of what the company's already providing, right? So it just goes to show that, you know, it's about developing those leaders and really giving them the skill set in order to be able to build those teams. And I want to touch upon the NFTs because we made history at Dominion when we brought the NFTs into the network marketing space. You know, like the
Yeah,
manual in itself is a game changer. Like we have everything in writing, we have a curriculum, you know, that's helping us develop leaders. But now on top of that, we have NFTs. So a lot of people have asked me, they're like, you know, I see NFTs all over on social media. Like I know it's happening. I don't really know what it is. And why should I care? Like, can you enlighten us a bit about like what is an NFT, what is it doing within our ecosystem, and why it's so valuable and why it's made us so relevant, if you want, in today's day and age?
so outside of Overcome Nation, in the traditional business world, everyone is talking about NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Everyone's talking about them as being digital receipts. Everyone's talking about them as being an image that has real utility behind it, meaning value, getting access to things, exclusivity to things, um, whether it's teaching and mentoring or exclusivity to clubs or exclusive restaurants or whatever a utility the company wants to do to put, you know, utility behind that image or what it is, right? When you go beyond that, there's digital art. You're seeing the biggest industries in the world, yeah, the biggest networks in the world that are staying or getting involved in NFTs. You're seeing Disney take their photos, their images, their characters, and minting them on the blockchain, and people are purchasing them as you know, like collecting Pokemon or collecting baseball cards or whatever. You're seeing Nike do it, you're seeing Adidas do it, you're seeing, you know, big companies. You know, why do you see Facebook change the name to Meta, right? Because they're getting involved in the metaverse. There's a whole virtual world that's out there. Celebrities are minting NFTs. They're taking, you know, songs, taking their music and minting them in NFTs and giving people value, giving them the ability to be a partaker and investing in their songs where they can receive passive income. I mean, the imagination behind the NFTs is just going further and further and further. It is a game that is not going away. You watch in every area of business, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, these will be a part of everybody's life. And what's the wonderful thing is that it's minted on the blockchain and it can never be stolen. And so it makes perfect sense in this digital world. And so, you know, I invested the money to put that within my ecosystem to where instead of selling NFTs to my team, I'm giving them these NFTs away that have characters and strengths and digital art, things that are dear to Overcome Nation, and putting utility behind them, putting real value behind them, and then also using them in rank recognition or using them as incentives and giving away free stuff, right? Because you can always load an NFT that's minted on the blockchain again with the additional value, right? Monetary value or exclusive value or membership value, whatever a person wants to do. And so, you know, the what's wonderful about Overcome Nation, the ecosystem, is that it fits like a glove in what we do, because we have added so much additional value
Mhm.
and rewards that it works perfectly within ours. If other organizations want to add NFTs, then they have to come up, dig in their pockets like I have, and give more away to make that happen. I'm not saying it can't. It probably should, but the thing is that again, I want to bring more than what everyone is bringing in this entire industry, because it deserves more, right? So spending my own money to bring more value to my team and give away more money and more bonuses and more rewards to my team, it's worth it to me, because I want the cream of the crop. I want everybody to want to be involved in Overcome Nation, and I want my team not to have any competition out there. Everyone can compete, come from company to company, but organizationally, we want to clean house. Why? Because we're willing to give more,
Mhm.
right? It's like a football team or a baseball team that's willing to, go after the best talent in the world. Well, I believe that if I offer more and more value, then the best talent will want to be a part of this team. And we have thousands of doorways within everybody, every single person that has their own organization within Overcome Nation is another doorway to another network, has the potential to offer a leader way more than what they're getting anywhere else. I mean, man, the only dilemma right now is getting the message out, because most networkers don't know that what we're doing even exists, because they've never seen it before. People don't know what to do with us. Nobody has ever really done that before. I'm not aware of anyone doing all of these different additional layers. They may be out there, right? I'm not going to say that it's never been done, but man, I've been in this industry for 17 years. I've seen multiple companies. I was part owner in a network marketing company too. I mean, I've searched the landscape. I've never seen anyone offer this before. And so what happens, organizationally and with leadership is a lot of other network marketers, they become cynical in their own right too, because everyone's saying their stuff is the best and their leadership is the best and their organization is the best, and they don't believe that an organization like this would bring more and more and more and more, until they actually stop and go, okay, let's cut the crap. Let me see
Yeah.
these layers you keep talking about it. And then that's when their eyes open and they're like, oh my gosh, okay, nobody's doing this that I'm aware of, right? And so in this chapter of moving forward in communicating the brand of Overcome Nation in the industry to bring massive revenue to our company, which is, we've aligned ourselves with Viseo, an amazing company. The next chapter for Overcome Nation is developing the skill set for each one of the brand partners to be able to communicate the difference in what Overcome Nation is offering versus every other organization who is not adding these additional values. And if you can get somebody to really look at it, then they'll see a big difference, right?
Mhm.
And whether they join you or not, they will definitely have to agree that nobody is doing what we're doing. We have real value here. And so this is an industry that I love, and so I want to keep doing more and more and more of it. And as much as my imagination or creativity can come up with, that would pencil out, and I'll give more to a brand partner that was looking for more and wants to be a part of a real wealthy, rich community, then yeah, I'm all about
Mhm. And I've seen it being here for over a year now too, how it's transformed people, like in how they speak and their lifestyles and in every aspect of their life. So,
it.
once you actually see what it's doing to people, it even builds your belief, right? Like it's one thing to
For
believe it when
sure.
you come into it, but when you see it, it makes it even stronger. So, Rick, I want to know, rain is coming. We're training for raining. June 11th
Yes.
in California. That's our next event. A lot has happened at Dominion that we've carried forward. Now, it's almost hard for me to imagine, even like, what are we going to come out with at this next event? Is there anything, like, is there a snippet that you can share with us about, what may be coming, or like what do you forecast seeing for your team, like moving forward? Like, what is your vision that you can share with us?
I have a lot of ideas that, I have to sit down with, attorneys and go over with them to see that, what I can offer organizationally, right? Um, but every idea revolves around how I can give more away. I would like to give additional bonuses away through our own, small compensation plan, as well. How could we do more? How could we do, you know, if we think of ourselves as an organization, like a company runs a company, you know, is that a bad thing? No, I would think it's an amazing thing, right? I just love giving people double and triple and quadruple, what they can get. Again, I want a vacuum effect to find, it's so difficult to find a solid organization, in network marketing. And what I mean by that is there's lots of them, right? There's hundreds of them, tens of thousands of them. But the trouble is people don't know the difference because they don't know what to look for.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, organizationally in their own team names or brands, brand communication is very important. I just want to make it easier and easier for people to see that we are quite unique. We are really a unicorn in this space because we're giving so much that quite honestly I don't have to give away.
Mm-hmm.
If it was just the financial education alone, it would be enough,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? But when you want to build a $1 billion organization, you start thinking, what can I do more? How can I raise up stronger leaders, more knowledgeable leaders? And so I'm looking at a compensation plan that would also help the brand partners within Overcome Nation systematically. Um, uh, I'm looking at programs that would attract a larger reach for the brand partners, to where it's easier for them to recruit top networkers,
Mm-hmm.
right? People that they would normally maybe not get, or people that wouldn't listen to them. If they could see that the power was in the program that they were involved in, then they would look less upon the person that's actually introducing it to them, right? And make it easier for my brand partners to level up. In other words, get somebody who has more influence than they do to come and enroll with them, knowing they get all of this,
Mm-hmm.
right? I want to make it easier instead of dumbing a message down like you see so many network marketers do. They dumb it down and dumb it down and dumb it down to where they try to make people feel like this business is so easy and you just have to do all this stuff. I would rather create more value than dumb it down,
Mm-hmm.
right? Make it more attractive than dumb it down, right? Because as soon as people come in and they start building a business, if there isn't a infrastructure or curriculum there, they realize, oh my gosh, this is a real business. I'm not ready for that. I'm out, right? Or you said this was a side hustle, not a career. I'm out there,
Mm-hmm.
and so I like giving everything up front to everyone for them to see that this is a real business.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a side hustle if you want to do that, but it would be like if I want to play professional baseball, do I want to make $500 a month or do I want to make 5 million, a year, right? If so who would step into baseball going, I just wanted to do it as a side hustle? Not if you knew it could pay that kind of revenue or that kind of income, you'd go for the high mark, right? And so I try to emulate that same messaging in Overcome Nation to where people can see, yeah, I could use this as a side hustle, but damn, this really prepares you for big business. I mean, this really, really gives you the infrastructure and the education to build a multi-million-dollar business. I don't think I want to approach it like it's a side hustle. I think I want to put my heart in this.
Mm-hmm.
And right. And so the things that I want to introduce to Rain will be along those lines because again, I don't want I believe it's easier for my brand partners to enroll when they have more to offer people
Mm-hmm.
rather than dumbing a message down and making it so easy
Mm-hmm.
for people to come in. No business where you have the ability to make millions is easy.
Yeah.
And so, you know, so there's a type of person that responds to messaging like that, and those types of people are the ones that you want in your business, because they're the ones that like, okay, I see this. This is a real business. This is a real freaking opportunity. Tell me what to do. Okay, this is how it works. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Right? They're already business minded. They already know to take it serious. This isn't a we get paid to party and all that stuff where people come and go. This is, if you take this serious, it will really, really reward your life in a very professional, lucrative business and career.
Mm-hmm.
I want that message to be broadcasted, because the lack of that message, listen to me very carefully, all you guys that are out there, the lack of that message is what's been hurting our industry.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people think the industry is a joke. That's why they don't understand how life-changing it is, and how lucrative it can be, right? It's that kind of, we just get paid to party, nonchalant, that has turned so many people off, and which is why you don't see them teaching that in universities, and more people understanding
Mm-hmm.
this industry, because everyone just wants to keep dumbing down the message. If you were to buy into the McDonald's brand, what if their approach was, let's just dumb it down and dumb it down and make it sound so easy that anyone could buy McDonald's and get rich? They would never do that. They're like, look, we're going to qualify you,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what it's going to cost, a few million, right? And then after that, you're going to learn this entire system. You're going to go to the McDonald's school, and we're going to make sure that you think like us.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think like us and you do like us and you really, really take this serious, then you have a very good chance of having as much success as the McDonald's brand has to offer you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so why would anyone that has such a beautiful opportunity or a beautiful business to offer dumb it down when it deserves so much more and is capable of doing so much more in a person's life? It's not the wrong approach to treat this like an amazing multi-million-dollar business. That's the correct approach. But with that correct approach comes, it needs the infrastructure of business. And that is where the industry has not done a well enough job. It takes more than just go, hey, buy that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Buy, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Oh, buy the Magic of Thinking Big, self-development. Those are all great books, and those books have changed my life. But what you need is organized curriculum, right? And that's what Overcome Nation has done, and we're doing such a great job. It's so
So
amazing.
good.
I'm so proud of my team.
It's amazing. Like the
Yeah.
momentum. And like you said, giving value. You've given so much value to this team, Rick. And just the fact that you mentioned at the beginning too, you're constantly learning yourself, and what you're learning, you're bringing to this team. That's what's keeping us relevant. That's what's keeping us up to date. That's why we're moving, we're changing with the times. And there's another level of
Sure.
value that, I want to touch upon, because I'm a product of it, that I believe is really crucial and people need to know about this, is that you're offering mentorship, like one-on-one mentorship with people on your team. So like the fact that, we can work for a couple of hours with you, like directly, like that is huge.
Yeah.
People pay a lot of money to get a lot of coaching, individual coaching. Like you look at Tony Robbins, like it
Yeah.
costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's not necessarily
Hundreds of
specific to your
thousands.
niche, right? So like the fact that we have this opportunity where we can either do like a group session or a one-on-one session with you, like that just teaches
Yeah.
us exactly, like it propels us even further to get there quicker, to really understand the mechanics and the business behind that. So talking about value,
Yeah.
you're giving on every single level that you can to make your team win. So I just want to highlight that, because I've gained a lot from
Yeah.
that. And it's really helped me in my business and where I'm going, and just gaining a better understanding on this. So, Rick, you've done so much for us, and you keep giving us more and more. I cannot wait for rain. I cannot wait for what's coming.
Me too.
And thank you so much for coming back on here and sharing all this with my network. I truly
No
value
problem.
your input, and having you here and just having you as a mentor. Really grateful for that and for everything that you do for us, Rick.
Well, thank you so much, Diana. Thanks for having me on and being able to communicate, everything that's in my heart. I sure appreciate you, and it's an honor to have your trust. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rick. We'll have you back soon. Thanks again for
All right.
today. And thanks everyone for watching. And we'll see you guys in a bit. Thanks, Rick.
Bye.
Bye.